Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. This is Monty, and this is the channel called Hands on Your Shoulders. This is the channel that I take some time to talk about addiction, recovery, and sobriety. I think what I want to cover in this video is just in regards to what an addict does in their addiction. Okay. I'm not talking about the actual using piece, but it's more or less the ethics and morals that they have no longer almost all of them pretty much do not exist in the forefront. It may exist within them, but they're not actually using those tools. Okay. And so in that sense, they're not being honest, they're not being truthful, they're not being trustworthy, they're not being just. They have learned how to manipulate, they've learned how to steal, they've learned how to cheat, and they've definitely learned how to lie. Okay. And some of the lies that they come up with are, pretty believable at first, but then afterwards you're like, wow, I can't believe they would do that. And that often is where a lot of people end up landing, is like, I'm shocked and disappointed and I'm hurt. I'm angry that they lied to me or that they manipulated me. But that is one of the things that they are the kings and queens of, is manipulation, lying, cheating, thieving. It's what they've kind of groomed themselves to become so they can continue to use, So when it comes to that, one of the things that I end up realizing, and I found myself in a place of being really upset with someone who did actually lie to me. I'm like, I can't believe they would lie to me. Why would they do that? I was shocked and I was disappointed in them and I was angry and I was hurt, right? But in the end, what I end up realizing, like, wait, what are they good at? What have they been training themselves to become for such a long time? For as long as they've been an addict, that is what they learned how to do. They learned how to be manipulators. They learned how to be, liars, and very effective and good at it too. So one of the things I kind of made myself realize is, like, I lose the right to be surprised that a person who is in their addiction or just new to recovery lied, or manipulated me. I didn't have the right to be mad at them for it. I did have the right to be hurt by it. And I did have the right to address them about it. But I did not have the right to be surprised. I did not have the right to overreact to it any longer. So I had to, every once in a while, it does happen still to me to this day, because even those that want to speak to me don't always actually speak their immediate truth right off the bat, and that comes with in time and building trust and all that sort of stuff. But the thing is in the early beginnings, I trust that they are going to lie. I trust that they're going to do their best to manipulate. I trust that they're going to try and find a way to steal something. Not always physical, stealing something isn't always a physical theft. They're going to find ways to cheat, cut corners, right? And here's as to why they do those things. Because it is all geared towards getting their drug of choice, their DOC, right? Or their alcohol. And for them, it needs to be immediate, because if it doesn't work on you, they got to find the next person, and then they got to find the next person, then they got to find the next person, until they actually feed that need, right? Because patience isn't one of their virtues. Lying, cheating, thieving, and stealing, That is their virtues, and in that sense, and as well as manipulating. So make sure, if you are faced with an issue and dealing with an addict, just know that you are not speaking to that person. You're speaking to their addiction, and their addiction wants you to go along with whatever it is that they want, so that way they can get their DOC. Okay? So keep that in mind when you are dealing with an individual who is like that. And lose your right to be surprised that the person was trying to manipulate you or was lying to you. You do have the right to question afterwards, like, why did you lie to me? How come you lied to me? What were you hoping to get from it, and all that sort of stuff. But, in the short term, just realize that their lying has to do with their getting their DOC. All right. So, as always, be safe, have fun, and play nice with the other kids.